That we talked about last week. Hopefully we'll talk about Oklahoma, Texas, Vandy, all those first. So just get ready for that.
Can y'all hear me good?
Yeah, you're good. I can hear you. Am I good? Can y'all hear me pretty good?
Yeah.
What about me? Does my mic sound right?
Yeah, you're good. Wake Forest, Jen. That's who Virginia's got.
Could be.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the R&D podcast. My name's Dalton. I'm joined here today with Pork and Chin. I'm looking to my left because my screen's to my left where I can see them. We got an interesting one in store for you today. We'll start off with the SMU Miami game. A little bit of an upset. I don't think we had anybody actually had SMU pick to win this game out of our podcast. And it's really interesting to see that SMU was able to pull off the win with under 30 rushing yards. Under 25 rushing yards as a total. How are y'all feeling about that? Chin, we'll start with you. What did you think about this game and what caught your eye?
I didn't really watch a whole lot of it. I was pretty busy throughout the day, but I watched the end of it and into overtime. The pick Carson Beck threw in overtime, he's double clutching too much, looking at the same receiver the whole time.
Mhm.
SMU, from what I saw, they played really good. I didn't really see a whole lot of it, so yeah.
Yeah, so a big thing for Miami in this game was the 2 interceptions for the Carson Beck. And Kevin Jennings just had a field day, 29 to 44, 365 passing and a touchdown. Pork, what were your takeaways of this game? Did you see much of this game? And what do you think about Miami taking another loss here?
I didn't see, honestly, any of this game. This was a game I kind of was like, well, Miami's going to win. There's not really much to watch here. And apparently I missed like SMU's game of the season, apparently.
Yeah.
You got a guy comes out and throws 44 times and what was that, say 360? I just had it pulled up. Give me just a second.
Yeah, 365.
Yeah, you have 23 rushing yards as a team and you still win in overtime. It's impressive, like nonetheless. Like that's the only thing you can take away from it is that SMU showed they can throw the ball.
I will say this: the third quarter was a large quarter as far as like scoring in this game. Was actually the most scored in quarter. It was the main issue with me with watching games this weekend, we'll talk about this, is YouTube TV cutting out or ESPN cutting off of YouTube TV. I wasn't able to watch games. Actually, when this game was going on, I'm trying to figure out how to watch it. I got the Hulu, ESPN, Disney little subscription package. And I was trying to get it to work. It wasn't working. I was getting frustrated. Finally got it to, and it was about the third quarter of this game. What seemed to stand out was SMU's fight on defense as far as getting to the quarterback. Not a lot to show for it, but just getting pressure on and forcing Carson Beck off his launching point, which is basically just making him get outside the pocket, making him uncomfortable. I think, SMU had a safety in this game, Moses, that was really impressive. I think he had 15 tackles in the game, somewhere around there. Let me see. Yeah, 15 tackles. Hudson goes for 11 and 136. Really impressive day from SMU all around. You just wish they could have put it together in some of these games earlier in the season, and they would be right there where they were last year. Another one, the one that we started with on the podcast last week, Vandy versus Texas. Vandy goes to Austin. Clark Lee looking to make a statement, number 9 ranked team in the country, going to face the number 20 ranked team. And Texas started off hot. Vandy spotted them 17 points to start the game. Arch Manning looked the best he's looked all season. What did y'all see on this game? What did y'all think about the final score of this one? We'll start with you, Chin.
Arch Manning looked like the preseason hype that they were talking about the whole time. Their defense looked just about as good as you would say a Texas defense is supposed to look. They were getting to Pavia, making him nervous. He looked uncomfortable. Didn't look like the normal Pavia we see week in, week out. You know, it was just kind of shocking when he looked normal at Alabama. Not saying Texas is a bad place to play, but with the season Texas is having, he looked very uncomfortable.
Yeah, just shook.
And I think Texas getting out to that lead at first really helped them out a lot.
Well, you know, when you're playing from a deficit, it's hard to come back, especially when you're on the road in Austin, Texas. You know, Pork, we'll go back to you now. What were you thinking on this game?
Well, going into the start of this game, I actually was watching the game with Jen. I was just like, well, this is going to be fun to watch. Diego Pavia, you know, show everybody he's a Heisman. And, you know, he comes out and I think he coughed the ball up first drive or something like that. It was something. I know they
first drive for Vandy, he fumbles.
Yeah, I had Vandy winning, and it really hurt because I was sitting there talking to Chen about it. And I kept telling him that Pavia just looked shook. He just did not look like any bit of him was just comfortable in the slightest.
And especially during the start of the game, right? And then as it got later on, you saw Vandy start to mount a crazy comeback, and they scored 21 in the fourth, which is absurd. If you're Texas, you're looking back at last week. You look back at the state game. They did that to state, and they almost had it happen to them. You know, so that's pretty interesting to think about. Whenever kind of had a vice versa deal going on there. Really impressive day from Arch Manning. Diego Pavia turned it back around after that fumble. Stowers, the NFL prospect, one of the best tight ends in the country. 7 receptions, 146, 2 touchdowns. Overall, this Texas defense, man, they're playing ball, especially at the start of games. You saw Vandy kind of come back out and start playing ball in that second half, especially in the fourth quarter, but not enough to be able to win them the game. Sad day for Vanderbilt, man. Really was hoping to see them in the playoffs. Would have been pretty fun to see for college football. Oklahoma, Tennessee. I think this is the one that caught me the most by surprise because I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, man, if Mateer doesn't throw for over 200 passing yards and 3 touchdowns, I don't know if Oklahoma's got a chance. Their defense is great, but Tennessee can score the rock. Man, was I wrong. This Oklahoma defense, they are some studs. As a Bama fan, I do not look forward to playing them in 2 weeks. But we'll start off here. Mateer goes 19 for 29, 1 interception. Kind of a lackluster day, but whenever Aguilar's on the other side, almost throwing for 400, 3 touchdowns, but he also had 2 interceptions to go along with that and the fumble that ended up in 6 for Oklahoma. What did y'all see in this game? 6:30 game. I know y'all may have been at a wedding in this one.
Yes. We're at a wedding. It was back and forth between Auburn and the World Series game, so I saw nothing.
It's a game I don't really want to talk about either.
Yeah, we'll talk about that one in a minute. I'm waiting to bring that one up.
I'll talk about the World Series all day, but
yeah, I bet
that's that's what happens when you're in Alabama, right? If there's an Auburn or Bama game on, there's another so-called big game going on at the same time. You're watching. It doesn't matter who's playing. Auburn's playing Kentucky. We're watching that over Oklahoma, Tennessee. That's just kind of how it rolls. But I will tell you this, man. This Oklahoma team, that defense, that Brent Venables defense is some studs. Joey Aguilar, he can sling the ball, but putting it into danger is one of his problems that he had at App State and kind of came up again for him in this game. 27 points. You told me Tennessee had 27 points in this game. I'd probably tell you that Oklahoma probably won this one. I was expecting a little bit higher score in the game than what it was. Still overall, a pretty good game. A fun watch, to say the least. We'll move on to probably the biggest headline right now, especially where we're from. Hugh Freeze, he's out. And we'll talk first about the game last night. Miserable game to watch. I feel bad for y'all at the wedding watching this game. I would have been bored out of my mind.
Well, I'm just going to tell you, there was nothing but Auburn fans watching this game, and we all had the exact same reaction the whole game. As we were wondering if he was going to make it out of the tunnel at halftime, still the head coach of Auburn.
Well, I'll tell you what, I was sitting on my couch watching this game, and I'm like kind of flipping back and forth between the Oklahoma-Tennessee game. And they got to a point whenever, all the Auburn game was way ahead of the Oklahoma Tennessee game. There was like 7 minutes left to go whenever Auburn hit half. Well, whenever it was kind of the changing point and Tennessee and Oklahoma went to half, I started watching the Auburn game. Buddy, I about fell asleep. Like I'm sitting here holding on for dear life trying to watch this game. I'm like, man, I got to talk about this on the podcast tomorrow. I need to watch this game. Nah, buddy.
Fair.
I was hanging on for dear life. But what do you think about this?
Dry.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. 10-3, Auburn fails to score at home, packed out crowd. I mean, fans are going to show up for Auburn. What do you think this is the right move, firing Hugh Freeze? Pork, we'll start with you. You're an Auburn fan. What's your take on it?
I'm going to be honest with you. Yes, I think it's been a long time coming. Arkansas bought him a week, and I felt like if he lost Arkansas, he was going to have to find a plane ticket.
Yeah,
he was going to have to go find somewhere to get him back to Auburn to get his stuff and leave. But just you have him calling plays, and he's not really a great play caller. I mean, as we've seen all year long, he's not great at calling plays.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really help when your offensive line just for half the game decides they're wearing the wrong jerseys. They're also on the team wearing white. So I mean, you run the ball, let's see, what does that say, 22 times with your running backs, 20 times with Jeremiah Cobb for 72 yards. I mean, that's one of his lowest averages on the season. Average per carry was what 3.6 yards a carry. That's just quarterback play has been an issue. I mean, O-line's an issue. Defense is great. I mean,
DJ Durkin's amazing. We'll say that. I'm an Auburn fan. DJ Durkin's amazing. We got him.
Hopefully, he's our interim head coach.
Yeah, I think he has been announced as the interim head coach, and we'll talk about that in just a second. Chen, I want to get your take on this fire. Is it a good idea? And then I want to go back to quarterback room.
I think it is a good fire. You know, it's like Hugh gets in his head a lot, like we've talked in the past. I think, like Pork said, I think Arkansas bought him a week. I mean, you're playing, from what this says, the bottom tier defense.
Yeah, I mean, they were 0-5 in the SEC. Yeah.
You only scored 3. And with the amount of talent Auburn has, and you only put up 3, it's kind of like, is it players or is it coach? Well, we know it ain't the players because y'all got the talent there.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's play calling and putting them in the right spot to execute. Like you look last year, again, I didn't pay much attention to the Auburn game, but you look last year at Eric Singleton. Mm. He's doing numbers. He's making plays. And then this year, it's like he regressed from what he was. And I'm not saying it's him. I think it's more of the system he's being put in, because whenever I see him get the ball, it's normally jet sweep.
Yeah.
Or they're looking to him deep, which I don't know why we're going deep to him when you got Cam Coleman on the other side of him. But I feel like it was time for Hugh to go. You had fans after the game chanting fire, Hugh Freeze. I feel like Auburn was ready to watch him leave.
Kind of just checked out in general. I'll throw this at you. Last week, Tennessee goes to Kentucky, scores 56. Auburn at home scores 3. And what I want to say about the quarterback situation is I just need a yes or no from y'all. Do you think it was a good idea to switch Jackson Arnold in that game in the fourth quarter and then pull him after 3 drives? Or do you think he would just stuck it out? Or just put Arnold in and leave him in? Because he tried to recall Arnold and put Daniels in thinking something was going to change. I mean, if you're going to make the switch, leave him in there to die. Don't keep switching back and forth. Or what are you thinking?
I just think that if we're going to switch any quarterback in at this point, you've got to give Deuce Knight a shot. Like, you can't keep holding ball steady. Oh, he looks shaky. He's what, 18, 19?
Yeah.
Playing on one of the biggest stages of his career at home. I mean, you got to just give him a shot at this point, because he's going to leave if he doesn't play. He's gone. I think Ashton Daniels is good for what he is. He's a bridge guy. Arnold is not the guy that anybody ever thought he'd be.
Yeah. Jim, what are you thinking?
I mean, when you put Jason Arnold in the game in that situation, you haven't done nothing offensively all night. You leave him in the fourth quarter. In that situation, you leave him in to try and get something kick-started. I don't respect the pulling him out after 3 plays. You said, I think.
Yeah,
you
three drives.
Yeah, 3 drives. Yeah.
I mean, maybe he gets something kicking in that fourth, but I don't know. It didn't hit like Ashton Daniels did last week at Arkansas.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at his stats from this last game. He went 2 for 3 in the air for 15 yards. And then looks like he took 2 sacks. Yeah, he was 3 for negative 12 rushing, with his longest being a 1-yard run.
We'll talk about DJ Durkin, right? He's the kind of the bright spot on Auburn's campus. He's the guy that you feel like needs to stay around. Well, he's been named as interim head coach, right? And we'll take a look at his coaching record. The last time he was a head coach was back when he was at Maryland from 2015 and 2018, which then he had that big deal where a player died at a practice, and then they fired him and started an investigation. I'm not sure whatever came of that, but DJ Durkin, otherwise, since then, he's been in the Falcons. He's been in Ole Miss as the co-defensive coordinator. He got hired at A&M and then eventually came to Auburn in 24. But you almost feel like Durkin's coaching some of the best football in the SEC right now. I mean, this defense is really good. If they had an offense to back it, Auburn would be pretty scary. But he gets named interim. If Auburn decides to hire somebody else, is Durkin gone? Like, does Durkin leave this year? Because I felt like almost that Durkin was going to get a job offer anyways after this season. But now, since he's been promoted, if he gets demoted during the offseason, is he gone for sure? What do you think, Fort?
I think, honestly, if you keep – like, now that you've named him interim, you've got to give him a chance at this point. And, I mean, there's a defensive coordinator you can hire and get in. And at, like, Georgia's DC, Glenn Schumann would be great to get here. And it's not like we don't have the money to throw. I mean, we've got plenty of it. It's just the fact of, do we want to?
Yeah.
But in true Auburn fashion, we're probably going to go throw $20 million at some ex-Ole Miss offensive coordinator, and he's going to come and do the same thing. So
yeah. Jim, what are you thinking as DJ Durkin? You think he leaves after this year, or you think he stays? What do you think?
Honestly, if Auburn offers him the head coach, I think he stays. If they go out and hire somebody else and another team that needs a head coach comes calling, I think he's out.
Yeah.
But if they do offer him the job, I think he stays.
I would imagine if he's offered head coach or remains head coach, I think he's definitely staying. Man, you felt like this was going to happen, then you felt like it wasn't going to happen, and then it hit you again. Hugh Freeze, 6-16, SEC play, 15-19, his tenure at Auburn, but just some ugly games, ugly losses, man. And he just kept saying, it's almost there, we're almost there, we're almost there. Well, you never got there. You got fired before you got there. Great recruiter, but I just could not put things together. DJ Durkin, though, he'll do pretty well as the interim, and then you look into this offseason, you'll see who Auburn decides to pick up. We'll talk about this overall job, as it sits currently. Is Auburn a top 5 job in the nation currently? Let's say this. So really, realistically, the top 4, top 5 would be, LSU, Florida, Penn State, Arkansas. Where does Auburn fit in that top 4 for you? And just give me kind of a reasoning why. I'll go ahead and start with you, Chin.
I'd go to 4. I don't think it's a better job than LSU, Penn State, or Florida, solely because those 3 from past have just letting the coach take over.
Mm-hmm.
And what we've probably talked about before, you're not going to just take this team by yourself at Auburn.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to have boosters and everything still sitting there talking about it. So that's why I would rank them at 4.
What are you thinking? Where are they sitting for you, and how come?
So the reason they're sitting here, and I'm going to get some flack on this one, I've got them sitting second only because whoever takes this LSU job has to come in and win 10 straight games. If they do not come in and win 10 games and go to the playoffs and show success in the playoffs, they're going to be with Brian Kelly looking for a job elsewhere.
So you're saying the volatility of LSU's job makes it a worse job?
That's
just because
the job security there is an issue because of the fact of they've gotten so spoiled off of winning that all they're going to want to do is win. And the second you show signs of not being able to.
Didn't the governor come out and say we want to make the playoffs every year?
The governor came out and said that he's going to pick the next coach or something. It was something wild
yeah, he
like
did
that.
because the AD stepped away.
Yep.
Well, look away from just overall job security wise. As far as assets, like if you're a young, aspiring coach and you were to step into a program, what would your top 4 be then? Like you're going into LSU, you have this, and this. You're not worried about your job security, but you're worried about what you can do to win because you believe in yourself. Where would you rank them at then?
So based off of like personnel, then I guess is where we're looking at this.
Personnel, facilities, traditions.
I still think Florida is the best job open, in my opinion. I don't think LSU is as great as everybody's saying they are as like a job perspective of it. Just for the fact that, I mean, their defense is great, but it's not a top 5 defense is the issue here. And their offense has shown that they're not the offense everyone expected them to be to start the season. But I think Florida, LSU, Penn State, Auburn is about where I'll sit them for.
So Florida, LSU, Penn State, Auburn. And then Arkansas right there at the back end, I'm guessing, if you were giving
at
a top
5.
5. I think, overall speaking, I got LSU at my 1 spot. I don't think there's too much of a difference between Florida. I think you have had previous success or more recent success at LSU compared to Florida. I think also recruiting-wise at LSU, you're around Mississippi State, Ole Miss, and then you have Texas A&M over a little bit further to your left, but you're not competing with anybody in state. You have your state wrapped up besides some smaller schools. I think that's the biggest advantage LSU has compared to like a Florida that has to recruit against Florida State, Miami, USF, all the above, UCF. So that aspect, I think there's a lot there. I think Death Valley's a great thing. Not saying anything about the swamp, but Florida really just started putting money into their football program, like the football facilities, not the program, the football facilities. LSU as a whole at the moment may have the better facilities. That's why I think LSU potentially is the better job. Florida, a really good second, no doubt about it. Penn State's my 3rd just because you walk in there, you have a little bit easier of a strength of schedule, not having to play in the SEC. You have great assets. You have had James Franklin won a lot of games at Penn State. He got fired because he lost really and truly whenever he lost to Oregon. He kind of got on a downhill spiral. And then he got fired from there because of the expectations, kind of what you're saying about with LSU. Then I have Auburn and Arkansas kind of tying. I don't think there's a whole lot of difference in these 2 jobs. You kind of have 2 mid to bottom tier SEC teams that have potential. You have Auburn has a lot of potential with Yellowwood as the NIL deal. Then you have Arkansas, who has Tyson Foods, Walmart's there. They got a lot of money. I think they're both kind of right around the same. Arkansas is a little bit more kind of in the middle of the United States. The only deal that Arkansas has over Bama is the fact that Auburn is in the same or over Auburn is Auburn's in the same state as Alabama. So you're having to recruit in-state talent against them no matter what. And also, if you're Auburn, the next head coach that comes in next year is going to have to go to Georgia and to Bama first year. So you kind of have a recipe for disaster there if you want to say that. And if Durkin leaves, if Hugh's out and Durkin leaves, then the whole roster is just going to disappear. I think Cam Coleman will be out of there. I think Eric Singleton's almost regretting leaving Georgia Tech now because you see what Georgia Tech's doing. Obviously, they lost this week. We forgot to talk about that in the opening. But Georgia Tech with a crazy loss at NC State just felt like whenever Georgia Tech would score and get back in the game, NC State would just kind of put it a little bit out of reach. But overall, Auburn job, Arkansas job, I think are equal. LSU is still my top job. But this has been a crazy year coaching wise. A lot of different changes, a lot of flips, a lot of coaching staff changes. Really interesting. Probably gonna be a couple more that may lose their job towards the end of the year. We'll move now. AP Top 25 drops a day. Couple interesting moves and changes. Jim, will you give us a little briefing on that?
Yes, let me get back to the picture I had pulled up.
We know
1 through 7 stays the same, which should have. BYU jumps from 10 to 8. Texas Tech had a good win. I said that might be a scary game for them. They handled it pretty easily. They're at 9. Notre Dame jumps to number 10. Oklahoma jumps from 18 to 11. Virginia goes to 12. Texas at 13 from 20. Louisville looked good again. They're at 14. Vandy dropped to 15 after the loss. Georgia Tech's right behind them. Then you go Utah, Miami, Missouri, USC, Michigan. Memphis moves up to 22. Tennessee drops from 20, or they're at 23, drops from 14. Washington's newly ranked, and Cincinnati rounds it out at 25.
so. Undefeated BYU is sitting behind 4 one-loss teams, which they probably should be there. I think the teams in front of them that have one loss, if they played on a neutral field, would win the ball game. If you're looking at it from that perspective, one loss Virginia, Louisville, and Georgia Tech, not all ranked over 4 two-loss teams. 3-loss Tennessee still in there. Of course, the 3 losses were against top 12 opponents, top 11 opponents. Still 3 losses nonetheless. Pork, what's your take? Is there a team there that's kind of bothering you? Like Miami still has not fell out. Texas jumped 7 spots. What's something that catches your eye in this whole situation?
So the one I'm looking at is a team I think is not gonna. I mean, they'll probably end up still being ranked, but they'll be around 23, 24 after that. I think that Virginia is a fraud. They're getting a lot of boost from that Florida State game. When they beat Florida, or Florida State when they're still ranked. But the issue is the actual issue is, in my opinion, Tennessee being ranked.
Yeah, with 3 losses,
they should be out. I know they lost to Bama and then they lost to Georgia, but the Oklahoma loss at home that should push them out, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think. No taking away from Tennessee. They're a great team, but when you have 3 losses and 3 big games, I know they're 3 big games, they're 3 top 11 ranked teams, but you got to pick up one. You got to win one. You got to find a way to win one. You had 2 at home and lost both of them. So I agree with you. I don't think Tennessee should still be ranked with 3 losses. Virginia, I agree with you that they could be frauds. What's kind of holding them in there is, like you said, the FSU win, and then also the Louisville win. They're keeping them ranked ahead of Louisville because of the head-to-head. But Louisville was not ranked at the time when they did beat them. Other than that, they really have no impressive wins. They have a loss to NC State, if you want to give them that. They only lost by 4 in that one. But overall, Mizzou still ranked at 19, or still sitting in the top 20. Vandy falls back to 15, almost making a comeback. I think this week should be interesting. Bama sees LSU. That should be a fun game to watch. I think Alabama should be able to get out of it, especially with Brian Kelly being gone. A couple good matchups over this week. We'll talk more about that on Tuesday night whenever we talk about the college football playoff prediction show as well. So tune in for that one. Is there anything else y'all want to end on? Anything you want to discuss or talk about?
Yeah, I'd like to talk about Virginia. You go to overtime with North Carolina, who has not shown any type of stuff this year to make them look like they are that good.
Yeah.
Now, was Virginia overlooking them? Probably. But it still doesn't look good coming from now because you're 12. I think I don't want to say Oklahoma's too high because, I mean, their losses are to I don't even know. I forgot who. Ole Miss. Who else did they lose to?
Who was it?
Ole Miss and yeah.
Oklahoma loses to Ole Miss, and then what was they lost one?
Texas?
No, they beat Texas.
Yeah, no, they lost to Texas 23-6.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought
I
they
don't know.
lost it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
So
like,
then, if we're going head to head, Texas has a loss to Ohio State. I mean, I don't see how you rank a team that basically manhandled them in that game ahead of them.
Mhm.
Yes, Oklahoma had a good win, but if we're going to go off head to head, I think Texas should be above Oklahoma.
Yeah. Reason why I don't like Texas jumping up as far as they did. That's the only problem with me is because you got to remember Texas did lose to Florida. Texas has not looked good. Should have lost to Mississippi State. Texas got a great defense and their offense is starting to put it together, but I don't know if they really should be as high as they are. But I understand what you're saying with the head to head. What about what do y'all think about Notre Dame sitting at 10? Do y'all like that, considering that they have lost 2 games to Miami and Texas A&M? What is y'all's take on that? You think they're fine where they are, or maybe they got a little boost because they are out of conference? What's up with that? No, we'll start with you, Jen.
I don't think their first loss, Miami, looks any better. They have 2 losses. One's now ranked. At the time, they were not, and now the other one comes to a 5-3 team. I don't think Notre Dame's losses look better now that you give them A&M. They still look good, but what is Miami?
Miami's just kind of slowly dwindling. They're just getting worse and worse as the season. And when they started out the season, man, they were good.
On fire.
They looked good. Carson Beck was playing good ball, and then you lose to Miami, Texas A&M back to back, which I know it's the beginning of the season. How much can you hold against them? They beat USC to kind of get their nose back in the window. But they really haven't played anybody but USC. They had a good win over NC State, don't get me wrong, 36-7. But I don't know, man. I don't really know how much there is to make of that. Or do you have any take on the Notre Dame team, or do you think they're good where they're at?
I don't know if you can say Notre Dame's lost to Miami. Like Miami losing now makes that Notre Dame loss look any worse because they lost by 3 in Miami.
Yeah.
And they lost by 1 to Texas A&M. I mean, their 2 losses aren't ugly.
Well,
I mean, they're very close, hard-fought losses too.
Let's keep in mind that A&M loss came at the last second, a prayer thrown to the end zone that the tight end made a good play on. So,
I mean, I'm not trying to put them down because of their losses, but the one loss looks good because of who it was and when it was. But the Miami one's just, like you said, slowly dwindling down from a good loss.
They lose one more time, which I don't know who Miami has on their, just thinking off the top of my head, I don't know who Miami has left. I know that, they have Syracuse, NC State, Virginia Tech, and Pitt. So NC State's definitely a losable game. Pitt's a losable game. Syracuse could possibly be one, probably not, though. So it just depends on where Miami ends up in the season if they take another loss. But other than that, you guys have anything else you want to throw in?
Notre Dame also plays Pitt and Syracuse at the end of the season, right before they play Stanford.
Yeah, they also play Navy this weekend, who is 7-1.
Yeah, Navy's going to be a good game. Yeah, Navy. That'll be a fun game to watch, nonetheless.
Oh yeah, that'll be a fun game. You'll see a lot of running that game.
A lot.
Yeah, a lot of interesting offense. I think Tuesday is definitely going to be the most look forward to show for me. I have the college football playoff predictions coming out, and we'll do our game previews. I think that's going to be a fun one. This is kind of our shorter podcast and a little bit less to talk about. Hugh Freeze fire was the biggest news we had today. I think overall Auburn made the right decision. Maybe not the time that they wanted to, but they had to nonetheless. Pork and Chin, do you have anything else you want to talk about?
Oh, yeah. There was another coach firing today. Maryland let go of their coach this morning. I saw that during the whole Hugh Freeze getting fired. Yeah.
So coaches going left and right.
Something else we haven't brought up is Mike Shula's gone now.
Oh, yeah. They fired Shula.
That's also something that's –
Hugh Freeze for OC at South Carolina?
Yeah, there you go. We're just going to trade. We're going to trade OCs.
Yeah, Auburn's going to pick up Mike Shula as head coach.
Yeah, no, just OC. No, bring him in as OC. Let him call plays. Forget it. Why not?
Oh, man.
Can't get any worse.
No, Hugh Freeze to South Carolina, be offensive coordinator. Cash me in right now.
Oh, I'm just looking at Twitter right here. I feel bad for the Auburn head coach next year, whoever it is. You go Baylor game 1, Southern Miss, Jacksonville State, and then you go, this is just random right now, at Bama, at Georgia, at Mississippi State, at Ole Miss, and at Tennessee. And then you have LSU at home, Vandy at home, Florida at home, Arkansas at home.
My blood pressure is getting up. You
that right there.
That off, man.
That right
we
there.
just wait till next year to worry about this.
You know, the Vandy game is going to be interesting next year. I'm ready to see what Vandy looks like and if they're able to flip Jared Curtis from Georgia. Because what is Clark Lee going to look like without Pavia? I think that's probably one of the most interesting things for me looking forward to next year. But that's way too early to talk about. Shem, bad on you, bad. Shame on you.
I'm going to be honest with you. I was really looking at Hugh Freeze losing to Pavia 3 years in a row. That was my big thing. I really wanted to see that.
Oh, my. Rough time. Clark Lee and Pavia, baby. Man. I think, like I said, Tuesday show's going to be a lot of fun. What are you saying?
We're still on the Auburn talk or whatever. I saw somebody say Clark Lee is on the board for Auburn.
Clark Lee will not be leaving.
Let's be real.
I don't think you will.
He's an ex-Vandy player. This means so much to him.
Alma mater, Vandy. He's from Tennessee. He's building something great up there. I don't know where they got that from, but I don't see him leaving.
Yeah. Well, here's the good thing for Auburn fans, though. If we really wanted John Summerall, Kentucky's eliminated from the chances of him going there. They have shown that they are better than the best 5-loss team in the nation. Okay.
Yeah. I think you're going to have to throw a lot of money. Auburn's going to have to throw a lot of money to get anybody to take this job. I think some notable people to watch for this job or I'll give you 4 because I don't think Drinkwitz is going to leave Missouri to go to Auburn, but I'll give you 4. These other 4. Summerall at Tulane, of course, because he's kind of in every coaching discussion. Who wants to take a chance on him and how will he be? Brent Key at Tech, he could be in there. Does he leave Georgia Tech to go to Auburn? Well, money talks a lot, and Yellowwood's got a lot of it. Clark Lee, of course, if they throw enough money at him, but I really don't think he'll leave Vandy. The last one, and this is probably the most interesting one to me, is Glenn Schumann, Georgia's defensive coordinator. I think that he could possibly take the job. But also Durkin, man, I really wonder how Durkin's going to do the rest of the season and if Auburn may even think about keeping him because I think if Durkin stays, Auburn should retain a lot of players, and that'd be good for that roster. But nonetheless, Auburn's going to lose a lot of players. It's just a matter of time. Transfer portal window opens up after the head coach, after a new hire's made, I want to say.
After the fire.
Yeah,
is it after the fire? So it's 15 days after fire. Yeah. So you may start seeing players hold out.
I think it opens tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think.
So Cam Coleman may be playing at Bama here in just a little while.
I was just about to say the big thing we have to do is not let him go to Georgia or Alabama.
You can't let him go anywhere in the SEC.
You really can't. You can't let him leave in general. He is the future of the program. You can't let him move.
I think Ohio State might throw a little money at him if he decides to leave.
Ohio State doesn't throw little money at anybody.
Ohio State's on the bank. Throw in the bank. But it's going to be nonetheless, this whole Auburn firing is going to be interesting because they have a lot of talent on the roster in certain skill positions that will be great at other programs. Yeah, I would want to pop this comment up because I agree.
Please,
with this.
God, no.
Ennis, Smith, Coleman. I mean, oh my. So the situation with Lane, rolling a comment so far fetched, in my opinion, is Lane. I think Lane would rather take a job at LSU or Florida over an Auburn job. I don't know if Auburn's got money like those other two programs necessarily will have to throw at a coach. Hugh Freeze's buyout is only $15 million, if you want to say that, which isn't terrible.
I just want to put this out there. They talked Brian Kelly down to half. We can easily talk Hugh down to nothing. Okay. I think we just talk them down and just call it even, have fun and whatever you do, playing golf, just do something else.
Talk Hugh Freeze down to $5 million in a lifetime trail card, and you may have it. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, I think he's hooked. I think he's hooked with just the trail card. Let's be real.
Just the trail. Just the trail card and a couple vouchers to eat, after the round. I think he's chilling after that. That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, Rhett Lashley. I was talking to RJ on the phone earlier today, and I said his name. RJ didn't want him because obviously he was a previous, fire for Auburn. But I think he's a big candidate in this job too, especially with already having ties into Auburn. He's doing good things at SMU. But what are you thinking? What do you have to think about Rhett Lashley, Port? Do you think he's a good hire for Auburn?
I'm not sure. I really think that if you don't get a Summerall or a big name coach come in, like I'm talking about, like the top 3 guys that everybody wants right now, you just stick with Dirk and just let next season ride at this point, and then see if we can scrounge something next season, and then let your new hired head coach come in and play all these big games at home rather than have to go to their turf and get bodied, for lack of better words. I mean, because that's what it would be as a new head coach. You're going into a very hostile environment like Athens, Tuscaloosa. I'm sure he'll be at Oklahoma if we play Oklahoma next season. Let's say Mississippi State too. Is that who you said, Chan?
Yeah.
Let me get back to it.
I do want to correct what we were talking about earlier because I thought this was
Mississippi
the case.
State.
Yeah, at Mississippi State. So the Auburn players cannot transfer until 5 days after a new head coach is announced. The portal does not open until the next coach is, which I thought was right because DeBoer, if I do recall, whenever he was hired after Saban's retirement, it was 5 days after, and it's a 15-day window to enter the portal 5 days after the new head coach is announced. So if you're Auburn, I was going to say that if you're Auburn and the portal does go ahead and open, you need to be moving fast to get a hire. But now, really and truly, you just need to hire the right guy. Sorry, Port. Continue what you were saying. I was just reading that and thought I should say it.
No, that's. I mean, honestly, I think. I mean, now that information's been brought up, so it's the time they announce interim, I guess, is what I'm hearing. So if let's say, has they announced that Dirk's officially interim?
No, he's interim. So I don't think the portal will open up now with him
until they hire somebody.
I think it's when they hire an official head coach.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's good. So at least we don't have to worry about him playing against us in the Iron Bowl, which would be nice. We can keep him.
I think he'd still have to sit out the rest of the year.
It's definitely going to be interesting how the rest of the season plays out. I'm just not really sure what to call, like how to call Auburn's future on this. Like obviously you want to win Mercer, you want to win Vandy, and you really the game you could lose the next 2 games as long as you beat Bama, you're fine.
Yeah, if Durkin beats Bama, he may be staying at all.
I'm gonna be honest with you, he's gonna get more money thrown at him from everywhere if he beats Bama.
Yeah. And the scary part about it is the most scariest part for an Alabama fan is a Auburn team that has nothing to lose. Absolutely. Especially whenever you're playing at Jordan-Hare. I don't know what they got going on over there, but it is a scary place to play at. Something always crazy happens, at least the past couple times that Alabama has been there. But let's not look too far ahead of that game if you're an Alabama fan, because you got LSU, Oklahoma, Eastern Illinois, and then Auburn. So
you better look out. Trap game.
Eastern Illinois. I don't know if I saw a just off topic. I saw or kind of on topic, but saw an Instagram reel the other day of an Eastern Illinois player who's like I think he was the center or the left guard. He's talking about blocking Tim Keaton. He was like saying like, "Oh, how did I block him?" And then he was making fun of it like he was gonna body him. Anyway, it's pretty funny. I'll have to find it and send it to you. But pretty funny talking trash about Bama going into Bama as Eastern Illinois. But nonetheless, this Auburn coaching job is going to be interesting as it plays out, especially with so many big name coaching jobs open. LSU, Florida, Arkansas, Penn State, Virginia Tech. So many coaching jobs have been open. Maryland now on the board as well. So going to be interesting to see how the offseason hires occur and who leaves where. I think Schumann's definitely probably one of my most interesting people to leave Georgia. I think that would be probably one of my favorite things to see happen. But
I'd be honest with you, I'd really like to see Dirk step into the head coach role like this next season, and then to fill his old spot as DC, you go Glenn Schumann.
yeah,
I think I fully just spaced, but you go get Glenn Schumann as your DC, and you don't even have to go hire you don't even have to go hire a top OC. You don't really even have to do it. You can just go get you a above average OC at this point, because what we've had is bottom of the barrel in Hugh Freeze.
I'll answer this one real quick, and I'll let y'all say what you want to say. I think Hugh Freeze will probably end up at South Carolina as the offensive coordinator. I think that's probably one of my favorite landing spots for Hugh Freeze, just because of Shula, obviously going to departing. I think he's going to be a landing spot for offensive coordinator. I don't think his offense has been great at Auburn by any means, but I think as a coordinator, he'll do just fine. And South Carolina isn't expecting much after this past year, so I think that's an interesting one. I don't know if that's exactly where he'll land, or if he'll maybe go back to somewhere kind of the size of Liberty and see what he can do there. But Kenny, I'll let y'all answer this question. Pork or Chin, do y'all have anything to say about this one?
Not really. I'd probably just agree with you. Either a small school or a OC somewhere.
Yeah.
Send him to Norfolk State, and then give us Michael Vick as our OC. We'll just do it. Just a 1-to-1 trade.
Yeah, just a little trade. Yeah,
little trade. But
Kenny
no, honestly,
Dillingham.
probably SMU is where I probably think he'd end up. Probably end up at a mid-ladder ACC team. That'd probably be a better fit for him, at least, to go play in a conference that isn't as heavily loaded as the SEC is, obviously.
Like being a coordinator at SMU, because you got Rhett Lashley there as the head coach. I don't think he's going to be replaced anytime soon.
That's what I'm saying. You go try to be a coordinator in a mid-ladder ACC team.
Yeah.
I don't think head coaching's in Hugh's blood, in my opinion.
Yeah. Kenny Dillingham, I think he's good. He would be a good pickup for any program as well. He's one that I didn't mention the head coach job, but good. Good little take there. I think Kenny Dillingham needs to be at least interviewed for a lot of places. Honestly, I think Auburn should be calling anybody they can get on the phone currently. Kind of the same with all these other head coaching jobs. Really just trying to reach out to whoever will take it, because there's a lot of guys that will not leave the bigger programs that they're at the current moment. Being Dan Lanning, and some of these other coaches that are kind of on the rise. I think Jed Fish, the Washington head coach, is going to be called as well in some of these jobs, especially the Auburn job. I think he'll probably be called on for that one. Don't know if he'll get it, but I'm sure they'll pay, or if he'll go, but I'm sure they'll pay him a little phone call. Anything else y'all want to say? Anything else y'all are thinking of?
No, felt like I'm good.
Just a rough day in office for the Port.
I'm going to be honest with you. I was on the way to my little sister's birthday party today around lunch, and I was actually riding with my girlfriend. I got the notification saying that Hugh Freeze had been fired, and I pulled over and got out of the car and celebrated for 5 minutes. I'm going to be honest with you. That was almost as good as like watching the Braves win a World Series this lifetime. That was awesome. It was actually awesome.
Oh man.
Hey, what about last night?
Hey, we're not talking. We're not.
I'll pop this up on the screen while we're getting out of here. Appreciate you stopping by. James Franklin, Auburn. You heard it here first. Alex West hot take. Appreciate y'all stopping by. Tuesday's going to be a big show, college football playoff prediction. We'll do all of our previews for the games that week. This is kind of our shorter show on Sunday, so tune back in Tuesday. I want to say we're going to go live at probably about 7:30 to 7:15. Roughly, because I think that's about the time. We'll announce it on Facebook whenever we come up with an exact time. Either way, this has been the R&D podcast, joined with Chin and Pork. 7. It's probably going to be about 7:15. Depends on what time the college football playoff. We're going to go live right after it ends. But been the R&D podcast. Appreciate you stopping by. My name's Dalton. Got Chin and Pork up there at the top. And we'll catch you next time.